and you say to the police chief, use the best practices in policing that this country has developed to manage the policing of a city like this, as broad as this city is. And maybe what you do in Philadelphia, because it's congested, doesn't work as well as what we need to do in Houston, but find the best practices for Houston. Having said that, here's some things that I think that we ought to provide for our police. One, the informational technology, so that immediately we can determine when there is an uptick in crime in any area, so that within a 24 to 48 hour notice, we can determine if your neighborhood has a spike in crime and immediately respond to that. That's something we can do. The second thing we can do is to make sure that all of the law enforcement agencies are on the same radio frequency and are using the same informational technology, so that when my house was burglarized back in the summer, the call went out only to the Houston Police Department. And there's a constable's office like right down the street, but they were not on the same wavelength, they were not in communication. Mayor White is doing a good job of moving us toward that. I'll have the opportunity, I think, to finish that off. The third thing that we can do is to try to make sure that informational technology frees up manpower from our officers, so that they don't have to go back and forth to the office to make reports, that it all can be computerized, and somebody literally from a squad car can make a report and send it in and be about the business of. The other thing that I think we can do is to make sure that some of the duties that HPD now performs can be performed by civilians. For example, I'm a big proponent of neighborhood protection. I believe that we ought to enforce those city ordinances that protect neighborhoods, particularly those neighborhoods that are at risk. But some of the citations can be given by civilians and not by HPD officers, freeing them up to do some other things. I've talked about the cooperation between the city, the county, and Metro, and the HISD. One of the things, and not just HISD, all the public school systems, one of the things that I would try to do is to make sure that they work in tandem, have coordinated meetings on a regular basis, and talk about neighborhoods that they are responsible for policing. I would also determine if there is an innovative way that I can use Metro Police from the Metropolitan Transit Authority to better promote better protect and police some of the thoroughfares, thus freeing HPD officers up, and making sure that HPD and Metro are making sure that our schools are safe, so that it's not just the local independent school district policing schools, that we have a wider net and we're policing the neighborhoods around the schools. Those are some of the ideas that I would certainly insist on as your mayor, without trying to run the police department.
One more, Professor Akamba.
Mr. Locke, what would you say is your greatest contribution so far as a civic leader, and how do you think that contributes to your vision of Houston tomorrow?
Well, that's a great question. I'm proud of the fact that I've been involved in so many things over the years. The introduction talked about me as a young activist in the civil rights movement, and there's nothing that is more special to me than that, because it literally helped to change the country. But I am equally as proud of the work that I did as a city attorney, because it taught me a lot about government and how government operates, and what you can do from a position of authority and responsibility to literally change lives. And that was on everything from affirmative action to rebuilding downtown to saving neighborhoods, and on and on. I'm very active with the University of Houston, and there's a special place in my heart, education. I served on the Houston Community College's first board of trustees. I was the first chairman of the board of trustees when Houston Community College separated from HISD, so I love education, committed to there. But you asked me for one, and here's the one that I don't talk about a lot. When I was a lawyer in private practice in a very small firm, I got a visit from a candidate for office in Waller County. He was running for county commissioner, and he told the story of 15 students at Prairie View A&M University, right up the road from us, who had been indicted for voter fraud because the voter registrar said they were not registered to vote, and they voted anyway. And this man told me, I know they were registered to vote because I registered them myself, and I turned the paperwork in. So I took that case, and I was really not an experienced criminal lawyer. I took it on a pro bono basis with one caveat, that I would have to represent all of the students so that we work in tandem and I wouldn't have competing interests. I was successful in getting all of the charges dismissed. I was successful in getting a public apology from Waller County, and I was successful in getting all of their records expunged. Why is that the most important thing for me in my career as a lawyer and as a public servant? I think it's because when a call came to me to do something to help somebody, I was less concerned about my status, my unfamiliarity with criminal law, the fact that I was not going to make any money, and I was more concerned about doing the right thing. And the reason I think that that is important, because it gives you a glimpse of if and when I'm elected mayor, I'll try to do the right thing, no matter how unpopular, no matter how uncomfortable it is sometimes, because there will be competing interests and there'll be a lot of shades of right and shades of wrong as mayor. You'll have to make the tough call, and you'll have to have the courage and the willingness and the heart to do it. And I think that one example is a reflection of my heart and my courage.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I let you go, we have a small gift for the memory of the day.
Wonderful.
I would like to invite the president of Texas Turkish-American Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Turkuaz, to present the gift. This is a nice handmade,
It's beautiful.
beautiful vase from Turkey.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much
Okay.
for coming.
Thank you.